Hi, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday's Fire Flow. I'm Kayla. If you haven't done yoga with me before, welcome. So I'm going to give everybody a moment to join me before I start really explaining what's going to happen today. So as you're coming on, please take a moment to say hello so I can see who's here. I am not going to have music today because I don't have anything to play it on. So if you want to listen to something, put on something a little bit upbeat. If you are joining me today, just so you're aware, this is my last live flow. Starting next week, we will be in person, as far as I'm aware, at Milden Hall. So I would love if you come join me in person at Milden Hall. If you are not somebody that has access to Milden Hall, and you're also not somebody that joins me at Bannatyne, I have some outdoor classes that will go ahead in Barrie depending on the weather. So take a moment just to go to my page and sign up for my mailing list, and then I can let you know about those classes. I'll still do some randomly sporadic online videos, whether they're live or not, but mostly it'll just be doing in-person classes for this foreseeable future. So now that I've given everybody a minute or so, I'm going to let you know my wrist is a little bit sore from going back to teaching 7 classes instead of 2. So today we're going to be really focusing on the lower body and a little bit on the shoulders. So I won't be doing any chaturangas at all, not even modified ones. I'm going to probably just take cat and cow or downward facing dog up on my fingertips. And if you like or love to do chaturangas, you'll have the opportunity to. I'll let you know when you can do it. Obviously, you can throw them in wherever you like. And that way you are able to still get them, or you can skip them if you don't want to do them like me. Yeah, so go ahead and find your way over to your mat. I'm just going to see if I have a hair rubber band somewhere in this room. It's not looking like it, so I'm going to grab a hairband. So go ahead and get started seated, facing whatever direction feels good for you. No hairband close by, but I do have a headband, so that'll work just fine. So like I said, we're just going to start seated, so facing me, whatever direction on your mat that is. And we're going to start with a little bit of sort of like a meditation, just some deep breathing. So just get yourself comfortable. You don't have to sit cross-legged. If you like to sit on a block, go ahead and grab one, just stick it under you. It can be a cushion as well. Taking your hands, palms facing up, maybe curling your first finger and thumb towards each other. And let's just start with a few deep inhales in, exhaling out through the mouth. And just really allowing yourself to bring your awareness, your focus into the present moment. Just seeing how your body feels, the way your breath feels, if there's anywhere that's feeling a little bit tight, either in your body or in your lungs. I'm just trying to slow the breath down. Just noticing if you can maybe lengthen up a little bit longer through the crown of the head. I'm just trying to allow any thoughts you have from your day to pass by with your exhales, focusing in on the now. Seeing if you can bring each breath to be a little bit longer than the last. And then when it feels good for you, just taking your hands together at your heart center, and I want you to bring this idea of authority into your mind, in that you are your own authority. So I think we talked about this last week, just keeping this theme around doing what feels right for your body. So as we go back to class, my ultimate dream would be that as I'm kind of leading everybody through the practice, everybody is modifying or changing the posture so that they feel really good for them. So just practicing that at home before we start to meet together in person. So just for bringing that into your mind, I am my own authority. I am in control of my body. I'm in control of my breath. And then on your next inhale, just lengthen your arms up over the head. Spread your hands out nice and wide. See if you can squeeze the arms back. And then as you exhale, just start to lean forward, hands down to the floor, chin toward your chest. Take a few long inhales here. And then walking your hands back towards you, and I'm going to have you turn to face the right side of your mat if you're not in that direction already. Just let me remove my socks quickly. And then roll yourself on down to your back, feet flat down on the ground. We're just going to start out with a couple of bridges. So squeezing in the glutes, pressing into the heels. Take your triceps down to the ground, fingertips towards the sky. And you're going to press into the heels, lifting the hips up. As you exhale, roll them back down. So on that exhale, as you're rolling down, try to focus on squeezing those hips and ribs towards each other. You should be able to feel that low belly starting to activate. Squeezing up, pressing into the heels, and slowly lowering back down. Noticing if one side lowers a little bit faster than the other. Let's try to keep it nice and even. So focusing on those hips, coming down both sides at the same time, and then inhaling back up. And exhaling down. So if you want, you can just come down part way and take a little pulse here. If it feels better, you can roll all the way up, all the way down. You can come really high if you like. So again, you're your own authority. It's a little choose your own adventure here, doing what feels better for you. Just starting to get those glutes active because we're going to be doing lots of lower body today. And then as you exhale, coming down, I'm going to have you take your right ankle across your left thigh. See if it feels good to press that knee out. And then I want you to try to keep that knee out, so you keep pressing it. You're starting to activate through that side of your hip, pressing into your left heel, pressing in the backs of your arms. Let's lift up. And then part way down. So you can come all the way down if it feels better. We're just going to focus on that left glute, but keep trying to squeeze the right knee open as you lift. Last time here, holding it up. Maybe you can do little tiny pulses. And then we'll release down. Taking that right foot back down on the ground, switching over. So left ankle across your right thigh. Starting here, maybe pressing that knee out. See if you can kind of release. And then pressing into your right heel, we'll start to lift up. Really try to keep that left knee opening and then come down. So just coming up and down, squeezing in that glute. See if you can really press into the heel, focusing on the glute muscles and trying not to let your hamstring take over here. See if you can press that left knee out as you lift. And then the next time you have yourself up, we'll hold. Maybe it feels good to pulse, so you're squeezing that glute and releasing it, keeping the height in the hips. And then go ahead and release down. Knees towards your chest, rock around a little bit. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring your knees slightly over your hips, so you can have them closer into you if you need to. Arms are going to come out to the sides. I like to bring them kind of in between my hips and my shoulders, so they're not all the way up and they're not all the way down. And we're just going to draw our belly in, trying to get the back nice and flat on the ground, and then let your knees drop over towards the left and draw them back to center, keeping that back nice and flat. So you can bring the legs further away depending on your strength. If you come through center and you find it challenging to keep the back down, you can just draw the knees a little bit closer, but we'll come over to the other side, really activate through that core and draw the body back in. You can use your arms to help. Just moving side to side. If you feel really excited about it and you want, you can lengthen out the top leg as you come over. You try to stay stable in your core. We'll do one more on each side. And then go ahead and come back in, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Just take some big circles, bringing the legs out and away from each other as if you're doing well, the way that I'm doing it right now is like the reverse of a breaststroke, and then we'll go breaststroke direction in a moment. And then coming back to center, just start to rock yourself up. If it feels all right, let's stop up in a boat. And then slowly come down and back up. So if you can, try to keep your legs nice and still, not swinging them back and using momentum in the legs to lift you. If you find that your toes tap down, that's okay. And if you're really not liking this because it's going too far towards your neck, just go ahead and skip it. You can hold boat, or you can make your way over into a child's pose, because that's where we're going to go next. So just a few more times here. Really try to draw that navel in and up. Last time coming up, see if you can hold. Maybe your arms can lift, maybe your legs can lengthen. And then we'll slowly, I'm about to fall backwards, make our way over into a child's pose. Taking the knees wide, lengthening the arms out, holding here. Just wiggle around a little bit, see how you feel. And then we're going to make our way up to all fours. So I'm going to come up onto my fingertips because, like I said, my wrist is feeling a little bit sore, so I'm going to keep from bending it and putting weight into it. So I'm going to keep it nice and straight, and then reaching your chest forward and lifting your back up. Just moving through your cat and cow a few times. Keep breathing here. And then when you're ready, we're just going to sit back onto our heels. I want you to take your right hand and you're going to bring your thumb right to your shoulder. Try to keep your shoulders nice and straight, your elbow in as far as you can, and you're just going to lift the elbow and bring it down. So you might need to adjust your thumb a little bit higher. We're just trying to bring that elbow up towards the ear and back down. And then I want you to take it up all the way and back down. And then see if it feels all right the next time that you take that arm up over your head. You can bend your elbow back, up, and then all the way down. So we're just trying to warm up through the arm and the shoulder because we're going to be doing some dolphin poses if it feels okay for you. So when we do dolphin, you're welcome to just take a downward facing dog. Again, I'm just trying to keep the weight off of my wrists today, but you can put as much on yours as you like. One more time here, and then release that arm. And move over to the other side. So left thumb is going to come to the top of the shoulder, and you're just going to lift and lower. Maybe noticing if you have less or more mobility on this side. And then when it feels good, we'll move on to lifting the arm straight up and down. So try to keep your elbow pointing forward the whole time, not out to the side. And then we'll add on from here. So arm up, hand back, still trying to keep the elbow forward, arm up and down. So you might notice that your arm wants to open out to the side. Try to keep it hugging in. Notice if you're starting to arch your back. I'll do two more. And then go ahead and release. So we're going to take this into a, we're not going to take that into a flow, but we're going to take our bodies into a flow. And it's going to be kind of like a sun salutation because we're going to be doing kind of similar movements, but because I'm modifying for my wrists, we're going to be doing some things that are a little bit more challenging for the body. So we're going to start here sitting on the heels, and then inhale to come up, tuck your toes under. You can take your hands to the ground if you need. We're going to see if we can just rock ourselves back into a crouch, right? So squeezing here, holding in your crouch, we're going to press into the feet, lengthen all the way up, staying on the toes if you can, and then exhale, hands down to the heart. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, find yourself into a fold. And we're going to do this a few times, so don't worry if you need to kind of find your place as we're moving. So come halfway up, nice and long. As you exhale, coming down, hands can come to the floor. We're going to sink back down into that crouch. Nice and steady here. We did something similar to this last week. So we're going to come down onto the knees, bring your fingertips down, take cat and cow. Come back through center. So you can hold here, you can come to downward facing if you'd like. I'm going to hold right here. Just drawing in. As you exhale, bring yourself back to sitting on the heels, and we're going to just bring ourselves back into that crouch. So swinging those legs up, maybe using your hands to help you. Holding here for a moment, and then we're going to come all the way up onto the toes. So lifting up, keep the heels off the ground if you can. Try to squeeze your glutes, lengthening up through the arms. Maybe this time bring your palms together, hands back behind your head. Lifting up, exhale, heels down, hands to heart. On your next breath, lengthen up. As you exhale, fold it down, finding a nice forward fold. See how this feels for your hamstrings. We're gonna come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Sink yourself down into your crouch. And then gently start to lower down onto the knees, hands onto the ground, cat and cow. And then coming through center. So again, you can come to downward facing dog. This time I'm just going to lengthen my arms out a little bit more, bringing my head down. Try to widen through your shoulders wherever you are. So I'm taking like a modified downward facing dog on my knees. You can come onto your toes. One more breath here. And then if you're on your feet, go ahead and bring your knees back down. We'll walk ourselves back. Come to sitting on the heels, and we're going to rock ourselves back into our crouch. Holding here. And then pressing into the feet. Lengthen all the way up towards the sky. Arms can come up over the head. Palms can come together back behind you, so you can open the chest up. As you exhale, hands to the heart center. Bringing that intention back into your mind. I am my own authority. So that means that you can make this more challenging for yourself if you need to, or you can make it a little less challenging. On your next breath in, arms up. And then as you exhale, bending to the knees, find your fold. Come up halfway, lengthen nice and long. See how this feels for your hamstrings. As you exhale, coming down, we're going to gently come back into our crouch, so sitting those heels down. That heels, hips down onto the heels. And then as you exhale, bringing yourself forward, taking a cat and cow, or if it feels good, you can chaturanga here. And then this time I'm going to come through center and bring my forearms down onto the ground for Dolphin Pose. I'm going to bring my hands together because it feels better for me. You can stay on your hands and take downward facing dog instead, or you can hold in this Dolphin Pose with me. Taking a few breaths here, try to really widen through those shoulders, press into the forearms. On your exhale, go ahead and come down. Walk your hands back towards your knees, come into your crouch, and then we're going to try again, coming to your knees, bringing ourselves to our crouch. So we're going to rock ourselves back. You can use your hands to help if you need to. Come all the way up, lifting nice and high. So we're just going to keep doing this same sort of movement, but we're going to just add some postures onto it every time. So palms together, hands behind the head, opening up. As you exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhale, reaching up, lengthen tall. As you exhale, fold it down. We'll lengthen halfway, long through your spine. Exhale, folding down. Find yourself into a crouch. Use your hands to balance you if you need to. And then go ahead and come on down to the knees. Hands onto the ground. You can chaturanga here if you like. Moving through cat and cow if you prefer. And then just like the last time, I'm going to bring myself through dolphin. So taking yourself to downward facing dog if you prefer. Coming into dolphin, I'm going to take like a vinyasa here. So if you are on your hands and in a regular down dog, go ahead and just take a regular vinyasa or a cat and cow. Otherwise, we're going to gaze forward and shift into a forearm plank. Holding in your forearm plank. And then bringing the knees down. See if you can lower the lowest rib down onto the ground. So you're almost in Sphinx pose. You can adjust your hands to Sphinx pose if it feels good. Press your pelvis down. Bringing the palms back together. Tuck your toes. Lift yourself back into your forearm plank. And then walking the feet in slightly, finding that dolphin pose. Come on down to the knees, wherever you are, walk your hands back, come to sitting on the heels. We'll rock ourselves back into our crouch and come all the way up onto the toes, reaching the arms, palms together, open up the chest. So we're going to build from here. On your exhale, hands down to your heart center. So bringing that intention back into your mind, I am my own authority. I'll talk you through this. So where I took that cat and cow, this time I'm just going to take that forearm kind of vinyasa. So there won't be two this time. And then we're going to add some kneeling and standing postures each round from here. So we should have time to do maybe 3 more. Okay? So on your next inhale, reaching the arms up. As you exhale, bring yourself down into a fold. Let your head drop. Lengthening up halfway, long through your spine. Exhale, folding. Find your way down into a crouch. Holding here. Maybe it feels okay to bring yourself up off your legs or lift your toes or heels a little bit higher. On your exhale, coming down onto the knees. If you're taking that forearm vinyasa with me, we'll come Dolphin Pose. Cat and cow is still an option if you prefer it. If you're in forearm, whether you're in a dolphin or a down dog, we're going to shift forward to plank. If you're taking it, maybe adjust your hands flat down onto the ground. And we're going to bring our knees down, reach your chest forward. See if you can really squeeze those shoulder blades. And then pulling that chest back up towards the sky, press into your forearms, tuck your toes, find your way back into your forearm plank. Maybe palms together. See if you can find your dolphin or your down dog. On your exhale, we're going to bring our knees back down, walk your hands back, and just like we did last week, we're going to step our right foot forward, finding a nice lunge. Reach the arms up over the head. On your exhale, hands are going to come to your hips, press into your front foot, and bring yourself up into a crescent lunge. So we're going to do a little bit of lower body work here, but I want you at the same time to take your hands out into fists, and you're going to lift those fists up and then back to level. And as we're doing that, we're going to bend our back knee, and we're going to drop down as you lift your fists, and then come back up. So press into that front heel. If you don't want to take these lunges, just go ahead and hold your crescent or come into that kneeling lunge and stretch out your flexor. Last time here. And then hands back onto the hips. Gently lower back down. See if you can press yourself back so that your hip is over your back knee, and we'll step the foot back. Sitting back down onto your heels, see if we can rock ourselves. Ooh, into your crouch. Holding here. Lifting all the way up, nice and tall. Exhale, hands down to your heart. We're going to do the other side. So inhale to reach. As you exhale, find yourself down. Lengthen up halfway. Exhale, folding. Find yourself back down into your crouch. Shifting the knees forward onto the ground. Taking whatever form of vinyasa you like. So maybe you're taking that forearm vinyasa. Maybe you're taking a cat and cow. Just see what feels good for you. Trying to stay nice and strong through the whole body. And we'll come back down onto the knees. Walk your hands back. Shift the weight over into that right knee. And we'll step the left foot forward. Reach the arms. Finding that lunge. Hands down to the hips, press into your front heel. So get really strong here and then lift yourself up. Arms up over the head. And then same thing as before, we're going to bring ourselves down, making your fists, keeping the wrists right and level, and then you'll lift the wrists as we sink down on that back knee. So sinking down and up. Last time here. Hands back onto the hips. Lower yourself down. Sink back slightly so you can put the weight into that right foot. Step back. And we'll shift into our crouch and come all the way back up to standing on the toes. Whoop. All the way up. Exhale. Taking the hands back to the heart. Bringing yourself back to that headspace of you are your own authority. So again, modify, skip things that you don't like. So we're gonna have 2 more rounds where we're gonna change the thing that we're doing after we're standing. So it's gonna all start the same. We'll come into our lunge, up into a high lunge, and then it'll change from there. So when you're ready, arms up. As you exhale, bend in the knees, find a fold. Lift yourself halfway, lengthen. Exhale, folding down. Sink down into those hips, find your crouch. Take the knees down, bring yourself into whatever version of a vinyasa you like. So as always, don't forget that cat and cow is an option. You don't have to take any sort of vinyasa. And then we'll come back down onto the knees, sit back onto the heels, and step forward with the right foot. As you lift, press into that front heel. We'll come all the way up. And then we're going to do something different with the wrist this time. So you're going to take the palms to face up, making the fist, and then you're going to bring the wrist back, or the hands back towards your forearms. And as we do that, I'm going to scoot back a little so I don't hit my face on my door. We're going to come into a warrior 3. So you're going to lift the wrists, bring them down, shift forward into warrior 3. Gently tap back down, squeeze the wrists back up towards your forearms, straighten them out, warrior 3. So if it feels better, you don't have to come so high. We're going to do 2 more. And then hands back onto the hips. Gently lower yourself back down. Shift your weight so that your hip is right over your knee. Step yourself back. See if we can find our way back into our crouch. And then reach yourself all the way up onto the toes. Arms up over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Moving to the other side, arms up over the head, lengthen. As you exhale, find your fold. Inhale to come up halfway, lengthen long. Exhale, folding. Find your way down into your crouch. Tip those knees forward and move through your vinyasa, however it feels good for you. Then we'll come back down onto our knees. Walk the hands back, weight into the right leg, left foot's gonna step, same thing as before. Get nice and strong through both legs and lift the back leg up. Scoot back again. Same as before, fists are, so the palms are facing up towards the sky. You're gonna squeeze them back towards you, and then leaning forward, find that warrior 3. Tap the toes, squeeze the fists, and come forward again. Hold on to something if you need to. Maybe just holding your warrior 3. We're going to do 1 more. And then hands onto the hips. Slowly lower down. Shift your weight back. Step yourself into your, back onto your heels. And shift back. Whoop. Into your crouch. So we have 1 more round. So we'll lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Lengthen up halfway. Exhale, folding down. Find your way into a crouch. Gently bring the knees down. Finding your way forward through any version of a vinyasa you like. And then coming back down to the knees. We're going to step our right foot forward. This time we're going to sink in really deep and maybe bring the hands to the inside of that front foot. See if you can squeeze the glute on your back leg and then release, and take it a few times like that, really squeezing and releasing. And then we're going to shift our weight. Bring your toes of your left foot back behind you. Find your way into a one leg Malasana. Pressing your chest over towards the left. Press your right knee open. And then so we can keep facing each other, I'm going to turn to the other side of the mat for this last one. So taking your left forearm, bring it on down to the ground on the left side of your mat. See if you can step your left foot back. Find yourself into a nice side plank. Holding here. And then we'll take the top arm down. Turn yourself back down. Come onto the knees. Walk your hands back, sitting onto the heels. And then we'll, whoop. Didn't work so well that time. Shift ourselves back. We got one more round, so we're going to come all the way up. On the toes if you can. And then sink down, hands to your heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up over the head. As you exhale, bend the knees, fold in. Come up halfway, lengthen long. Exhale, fold in, bend in the knees. We'll sink down to sit on the heels. We're going to shift ourselves forward onto the knees. Bring yourself through whatever version of that vinyasa you like. Come back on down to the knees. Walk yourselves back. We're going to step forward with the left foot. And then hands are going to come inside of the front leg. Shift that back leg back slightly. Really get deep into this. Holding here. Squeezing the glute on that right leg. So you're going to squeeze and release. I don't know if you can see it in the video. Really try to squeeze the glute and release. And then we're going to come out a little bit, shift those right toes back behind you, finding your way so you're facing the long edge of your mat. Bringing your left elbow into your left leg, turning your chest towards the right side, coming into that half Malasana. And then when you're ready for it, we're going to come into that side plank. So you're going to bring your right forearm down to the ground, maybe making a fist. Try to get your shoulder and elbow in a line. And then we'll just step back with that right foot, coming into your side plank. Top arm can lift, holding here. Don't forget to breathe. And then we'll close ourselves up. Come onto your belly, facing that right side of the mat. Take the soles of the feet up towards the sky, and we'll just windscreen work with the legs side to side. And then find your way back through center, legs lengthening out long. We're going to do a couple of planks from here. to really get into that core. So starting out in a Sphinx pose, spread your hands nice and wide, press your forearms into the ground. Get yourself so that you have your shoulders right above your elbows. We're going to tuck our toes, round the back first. So you're coming from here to here, and then we're going to lift. Lifting that pelvis off the ground, try to bring yourself into a nice long line, press out through your heels, and then lower back down. We'll do a couple more like that. So pressing in, rounding that upper back, and then drawing the navel up towards the sky. And slowly drop back down. 2 more times. Pressing into the forearms, lifting up. And then back down. And 1 more time here. Lifting up if you want. This time you can lift one leg and the other. Just kind of swapping sides. Do 1 more each side if you're lifting. Then we go ahead and come down and back into a child's pose. Whew. When it feels good for you, just walking your hands back. Coming back to sitting on the heels. Clasping your hands back behind you. Let's open up through the chest. And then go ahead and release. If you have the toes tucked under, go ahead and take the tops of the feet onto the ground. And we're just going to bring a little stretch into the ankles in the opposite direction. You can bring your hands to the floor if you need to support you. And then when it feels good, just make your way over into seated, facing whatever direction is most comfortable for you. And then soles of the feet together, knees dropping out. Let's lengthen up, see if it feels good to lean forward slightly. Maybe moving around here. And then when you're ready for it, we're going to bring the legs out nice and wide. So just taking them to somewhere that feels comfortable. Again, you can sit on a block if you need to. Try to get the flesh out from underneath you. Hands can come back behind you up on the fingertips. Starting out, I want you to squeeze your thighs down towards the ground to where it makes your heels lift. So you're pulling your toes back towards you, lifting here. See if you can draw your belly in, getting nice and strong through that whole body. And then maybe you can point the toes, keeping those heels up off the ground if you can. We'll flex the feet again. So pressing the thighs into the floor. Point. And flex. And point. Maybe your arms can release off the ground if you're feeling comfortable here. And we'll just keep this going a little bit longer. Taking a break anytime you need. Notice if your legs are starting to draw backwards, try to keep the toes pointing straight up. And then go ahead and release. Left sole of the foot's going to come to the inside of the right thigh. We'll start out just lengthening long and walking your chest forward slightly. So if you start to come off your right hip, try to plant it back down and bring your arms back a little bit further. See if maybe you can squeeze up through that thigh and release a couple of times. And then we're going to bring ourselves back. Turn your chest towards your left foot. Right hand's going to come to the inside of your right thigh. I want you to keep your chest pointing towards the left the whole time. And just start to lengthen yourself over. Left arm can come up over the head. See if you can get the side body on this right side to lengthen over so you're not just rounding on that side, and keep opening. And then drawing yourself back up. Sit the weight back into your sitting bones. You're gonna lift up your right leg, move it to center, and back out a couple of times. So hands can come behind you if you need to. We'll do one more. And then go ahead and switch legs. So rolling over towards the right, left leg's gonna lengthen out. We'll start out just like before. So try to get both sitting bones on the ground, move the flesh out, get nice and long, and tilt forward. Hands can come wherever feels good. Just try to keep those sitting bones on the ground. You could even move some flesh out from your hip creases if you need to. Breathing deeply. See if it feels good to squeeze up through the thigh and release it a few times. And then we'll bring ourselves up, turn your chest towards the right, left hand's gonna come to the inside of the right. Left hand's gonna come to the inside of the left leg. Boy, I'm screwing this up today. Try to get nice and long, and then you're reaching the side of your rib over, keeping your chest turning towards the right. Right arm can lift. See if you can lengthen out. Maybe you can let your right leg relax down. Again, choosing what feels good for you, so you don't just have to copy the shape that I'm making. You can adjust it so that it's comfortable. Just try to keep your chest opening. So if you're adjusting it so it's comfortable so that you're turning down towards the ground, that's going to change the stretch completely. But what you do with your arms is completely up to you. You could even straighten this leg out and do it with a straddle. When you're ready for it, we're going to come back up. Shift your weight back slightly so you can lift the left leg and move it to center, and then back out. One more time, into center, and back out, and then we'll bring the feet in. Turn yourself back to the short edge of your mat, give yourself a hug. And then scooting yourself forward so that you have space behind you. We're going to roll on down to our backs. Pull the knees in, draw those big circles again. Taking one direction and then the other. And then taking the feet flat down on the ground again. I want you to watch first so that you can see what I'm doing before you bring your hips up off the ground. So we're going to come into a bridge, but I want you to make fists with your hands and bring the fists down by your hips. So this is the part you're going to watch. So you're going to bring your hips up off the ground, squeezing, and then you're going to lift the wrists up and down. So you're trying to lift the side of your hand up towards the sky, keeping the rest of your arm on the ground and lower. So you're just making a little gentle movement, almost as if you had like a, I don't know, like if you had a candlestick in your hand, you're trying to tilt it back toward your shoulders. So you're just lifting and lowering. Focus on keeping those hips up. You can shoot them a little bit higher if it feels good. You can come into this anytime you're ready for it. Just noticing how this feels in both of your hands. Keep that fist nice and strong. So for me, I can definitely feel it's tighter on the left one, which is the one that's been bothering me a little bit, so we just need to get some strength in there. So if you can do it without looking, if you can just listen and hear me, go for it. If you need to look, go ahead and bring your hips back down. But we're going to take the fists down to the ground, and then you're going to take the little pinky edge of your, so the fists are facing down towards the ground, so the back of your hand is towards the sky. The pinky edge of your hand, you're going to kind of shift it over towards the outside of your mat and then back to center. So it's kind of the opposite of what we were just doing. You're just going out to the side rather than up. Keep squeezing in the glutes. Notice if your hamstrings are starting to try to take over in this bridge. Maybe you're feeling some burning sensation in your booty. That's good. And then we'll draw ourselves back down. Woo! Knees into the chest. Rock around. When you're ready for it, coming back to center. If you like to cross your legs in a twist, we're going to start with the right leg over the left, so the knees are crossed rather than shin over ankle. Arms out to the side. Just let your legs drop over to the left. See if you can kind of shift that top hip away from your ribs a little bit, so you're lengthening down both sides. And then if you have your legs crossed, just go ahead and unwind them, rock yourself back to center, and we'll do the other side. So starting out just by bringing that left knee over the right knee, and then let the knees drop over to the right. Again, seeing if you can kind of shift that top hip away from you, creating length down both sides, drawing the belly in. And then gently drawing yourself back to center. Both feet flat down on the ground. Just rock on the pelvis a little bit. You can even take your hands into the thighs and press those legs away from you. Any last movements that feel good. And then just releasing. Take the hands onto the belly. Softening here. Take a few deep inhales in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try to let the face relax with your exhales. And then just allowing your breath to relax back into its natural state. Try to keep your focus on relaxing through the body, even if that means focusing on one tiny part of your body at a time. Or you could repeat our intention, our mantra, I am my own authority. If you find your mind starting to wander, just bring it back to your breath. And then if you're ready for it, you can start to bring some movement back into your body. So just wiggling fingers and toes. Starting to lengthen the breath a little bit. Maybe taking the arms up over the head and lengthening the legs out. And then bending one knee at a time. Roll yourself off onto one side using your bottom arm as a pillow. Just pausing here, noticing if you're feeling any differently now than you were at the start of our practice. And then gently pressing yourself up, finding any seated position that's comfortable for you. Lengthening up nice and long through the spine. We'll take a deep breath in together. Reaching the arms over the head. Bring the palms together, lower them down to your heart. Give gratitude to your body. May the light within me reach out and touch the light within all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here Thursday for my last slow flow. And then we will be in person next week. So please, 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 if you are somebody who lives around here with the Milton Hall access, bring friends. We need to get as many people as possible back into the classes because a lot of the regulars have PCS'd. And I'll see you all then. Goodbye.